Most traders drown in charts and still miss the real levels. Get clear daily roadmaps for the S&P 500 futures. Levels, setups, and strategies that matter. Delivered straight to your inbox pre-market every morning. Subscribe now on Substack. Conquer the markets.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Good to see you guys. Today it is Tuesday, November 4th. And we finally got that sell-off we were talking about. Came down into some nice support this morning. We're going to get into the trade plans as usual. But first and foremost, want to just tell you guys, if you have not subscribed to this channel or Twitter, please like, subscribe, like to the Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll go ahead and throw this on here for you. My tag is Ryan Bailey Edge. That is on YouTube, Twitter, and Substack. So you can find this across the board. Obviously, like, retweet, hook me up, help you guys out. Spread the blessings a little bit to other people. As you guys know, these trade plans are banging. So follow up with that. Also, if you go to Twitter, I just retweeted it. You guys can click on the link if you're not subscribed yet. Offering 30 days free of the Substack. It is totally worth it. And we're going to go today and going to go dig into the levels that we took today and the trade plans, the setup for these levels. So pretty good stuff. Actually, I did a lot of commentary today in the Discord room, so we'll go into that as well. So just want to apologize right up front right now too a little bit. So, I told you guys that I don't rehearse any of this stuff. I pretty much free ball everything. And today I am super free balling. Okay. So for those of you guys who know me and they're in the Discord, know me well, knew I was already doing this. For those that you don't know, I've actually been doing hypnotherapy for quite some time, long time. I'm into my second hypnotherapist, and I actually go for trading. They are my trading coach, hypnotherapist, the whole 9 yards. I'm super big into performance enhancements, as far as just trying to get your mind right. Right. I do anything to get the edge. I like to microdose, whatever, mushrooms, LSD, all that, let your mind loose. But I do regularly see a hypnotherapist, probably once a month, and just, do what I like to call like a mental oil change, just a little tune-up. Sometimes I, tend to fall out of line and, don't exactly do exactly what I'm supposed to do all the time. And it bothers me. For those of you guys who really know I'm a perfectionist. I am extremely hard on myself. My process plays amazingly well, as you guys know. I mean, you see the trade plans, we see them play out. The guys in the room are blown away by it a lot of times. Like, I don't even understand how, it's so spot on. But when I don't perform exactly the way I want to, I get a little bent out of shape about it. So, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to that, and I want to perform, and I want to trade my plan exactly as it lays out because it's my plan. So, I go see the hypnotherapist and we make that work. And, he kind of dials me in, gets me thinking on the right state of mind. And I'm more than happy to talk with anyone who wants to know more about this on the side. I was actually thinking about having Nathan on a podcast one of these weekends and introduce him, and that way you guys could meet him and you could learn about what we do and what he does. He actually does movie stars. He was just in Beverly Hills for the week, and guy flew him out there and put him in a Beverly Hills hotel and did the whole nine. He had this big movie part coming up, and so he got his mind right. And he has a lot of traders, and so it's pretty cool. What he can do and how powerful your subconscious is. So that was really fun. So we went ahead and had a nice session there. And so I'm more than happy to explain to you guys how that works if anybody wants to know more about that moving forward. So let's go ahead and get into the trade plan. Let's talk about this and just see what's up here. So let me find this. This is a lead-in from yesterday. Let's just go ahead and pull this up. So as many of you guys know, I was, looking for more down in the weekend review. And then, of course, this was from Monday. And I was talking about how this 06, 07 level was very, very important. And we snagged from that first thing in the morning. That was our top short. And it took us down like 50 points. And then we ended up playing the 55, which took us all the way back up to like right around 94. And 94 ended up being the next 4 hour that sent us down. And at that point in time, I wasn't really looking to fill the gap. I was just looking to get new lows on Friday's low very soon. Well, lo and behold, we woke up this morning and we were down about 75 points. And we came into some awesome territory. And so we actually got a super nice reaction off of the weekly level that we've been talking about for some time. Where's my pen at? My beautiful pen. Here we go. 55 was the long, yeah. And so I wanted to show you guys this. Obviously, I put this in the plan this morning, and this was my post from this weekend. Oh, it looks like this is the link here. Take us right into it. So this was the likely outcome that I posted on Sunday. Fall back into this general vicinity and get a nice little pop. And I still believe that. I still believe this is exactly where things stand. And right now we're looking up. We do have one very large catalyst for tomorrow. And I brought this up, and actually I will put this link in the and I'll post it, and I've talked about it on Twitter. This is going to be a big deal. I'm just going to throw this out there. This happens tomorrow. So this is the Supreme Court hearing for Trump's tariffs. Now, as far as I'm aware, he and the Republicans have a majority seat in the Supreme Court. And so they think that right now this leans towards, basically keeping everything status quo. However, if they vote this down and say that he didn't have the power to make these tariffs go in action, it basically dissolves everything that he's had going on. So this could be a potential big deal tomorrow and a catalyst, which is really the reason, or what they say, the reason why the market has come down so far. Now, we know that a lot of it has to do with technical analysis, as we've been talking about this for some time. And in all actuality, if you look at this picture here, we drew this, I don't know if you can see it, but it comes right into the 20-day moving average here. So let's see, what can you guys see? There we go. So I'm going to pull over this daily ETH chart. So this morning at about 5 o'clock in the morning, they pulled right into this 67.88 weekly and played it almost to the tick. It looks like they got into about the 20-day moving average, and which was 85. This was an awesome, awesome test. And what was really cool was we talked about in the plan, and we talked about this for a long time, if they come down and they play this area, we want to get back above 05, and 12 would be our trigger to squeeze us once we get above the previous all-time high. So let's look at the review here of what actually happened. And let me pull over. I think that 1 hour will do. This will be fine. So here is the 88 pivot right here. And the reason that I like this, I know you guys can remember, we had the 1019 weekly value area low here, and then also around 92, we had the 10.5 weekly point of control, and we had the fourth deviation options vol level. And for those of you guys who get the trade plans know that, I am a firm believer in these levels, as the fourth deviation makes for a great area to look for potential reversal. The second deviation is a great target. So this is when you're moving into the level. Well, we came down into the level, into the fourth deviation pre-market. Looks like about 5 a.m. We popped up and we come down. Let me see if I can just probably pull this over here. Here, there's a 5-minute chart. This will be a little bit cleaner for us. So this is how we started the day. We started up here, and then we actually ended up fading. What was crazy was, and I've got pictures in the Discord, I was actually resting right down here at 94. They missed me by 1.5 points. So salty. I wanted to get long, easy stop, and what have you. But what they did is when they pulled back in this, they ended up reclaiming the 05 that we talked about. So we played 88, boom, right? They ended up getting above 05, couldn't really hold the previous high, come down. We played the support, and when they launched, boom, we got back above 05. And ultimately, what I kept saying we want is to get back above 12, which was the previous value area or previous all-time high. And they did. And they just squeezed like to the bejesus. And so, as you guys know, that we were in the Discord, and I believe I actually have it in the trade plan as well. Like I said, I'm free balling today, guys, so bear with me. Right here, let's see. Our resistance here. There you go. So we played this up into our resistance areas, 35. It was one of our resistance areas because that 36 was the 4-hour, and I took the last target right here above yesterday's low, which was at 48. So I actually missed this entry here. I did not get in until about, I think I got in at somewhere around 15, and I wrote one up to 36 and one to 48. Actually, I took both in here, ended up getting back in and then getting out up here. So I got the full move. Now, I wasn't looking for the short whatsoever, but this is what played. And so here's the thing. Right now, we're coming off this. We still are holding this weekly. And this is very important, guys. I mean, just huge. This is a monster level. And I'm going to pull down the 4-hour so I can show you this. Here's why the level is so important. Sorry, I got something in my eye here. Look how many times this area has been played. Okay? Like, it got banged here a bunch of times on the 4-hour. Okay? And it really here, it held us underneath as well. So once they got back above it, this was a big catalyst move up. And now we're playing it to the downside. All right. Now we do have some other support levels that are lower. Absolutely. And the one that I'm really looking at is this one down here at 36. Okay. 36, 38. This is my favorite. But we don't want to ignore this area. And more importantly, I want you guys to remember this spot, even if we move below it. Okay, this is always going to be a big area for us to get above or below. So even if we move below 67.8850, I don't know if we're going to sweep it and reclaim, or if they move below, come down and work their way up. But we do not want to forget this spot. This is going to be very important for us. Okay, so let me get these out of the way here. Now, what is going to happen tomorrow? Well, that was my only trade today. So that was the only trade in the trade plan unless we were going to move higher or move lower. So let's go ahead and talk about lower just because, right? So we've talked about this in the trade plan. We have the 74 directly below us. So we'll see how that plays out. And then we also have this 1 hour down at 61. Now I have to just shoot you guys straight. I like these levels, but I don't like them that much. You know, they're like, okay. I mean, that's why I even have watch on here. So you just have to, be aware. One of the nice things about this daily is we do have the 67.76, which is the naked POC from 1019. It's there. It's awesome. It's a great confluence. And this is technically an untested 1 hour. But again, it's technically an untested daily. But I probably wouldn't take this trade unless we swept and came back above and got above 88. Okay, just wouldn't be interested in it. It's just not strong enough for me. The other one is the daily at 60 or the weekly at 61. If we come down and we get into 61, I'm going to look for a reclaim of 66. That will be when I enter. So that gives me at least a 5-point stop, maybe 6 points at the most, because I'll put my stops at the lows, keeps my risk in check. And then I'm going to look for this to get above these levels as we continue to squeeze higher. Okay. I'll be taking some profits up in here, no question. All right. And then I can always add back in on the pop up and the retest once they do that number. But this is going to be a big level once we get below it as well. So I just want you guys to not forget this. Okay. And again, these are going to be the other big catalysts for us, the 05 and the 12. All right. Now, I've talked about this quite a few times. I've talked about this in the stream and the weekend and also in the weekend review. You know, this is the big boy, guys. And this is a daily leg up. Now, this is my favorite level other than the 88.50. I want to see this area play. If it holds, I'm going to get long above 67.44.75. And then obviously I'll be taking some profits at my major pivots here, by like 61, take one, and then really 88. But if this holds, we can go all the way back up, at least to 74. Okay. Now, provided we have to get over some of this other stuff here, but that's the main thing. Now, if this thing pops off tomorrow with Trump, you know, I don't have anything under 36 or 38 until we get down to 66.60. Okay. And then, you know, this is a big level. We played this quite a few times when we got down there. And so that was a goodie. Right. So that's really what I got for you guys here, you know, on this side of things. As far as VIX, let's talk about VIX. So we had VIX up this morning, and, you know, we were talking about how this thing really pulled up pretty strong. And the area that we needed to watch was 1860. And so above or below, you know, 1860 for the test, and then 1913 was a pivot. And then these areas up here were support and resistance lines. As of right now, this area, this 1860 is tested, and we bled through quite a bit. It immediately just started bleeding right through it, and that's when the long took off. And so right now, for me, the only level that I'm really focusing on right now for VIX, as far as being untested, is the 1744 daily and the 1735 monthly. We know this monthly has been big. If we end up coming back down here, that means the ES would push up quite considerably, but this would be an area to look at for a potential smack. However, if we move above 1913, we got to deal with this 2078 and then obviously the 22 monthly up here, because this is a monster. But anytime we move above 1913, guys, we're going to get a lot of pressure on the ES. Okay, so something to keep in mind. You know, I've given you a lot more than I normally give on these market breakdowns just because, you know, I'm a little unprepared today. But at least this helps you guys out for tomorrow, kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at. And I'm going to show you a trade setup that I was looking at for today. Now, remember, I told you I was resting down here to get long off of this 1 hour, 4 hour at 92.75. They missed it and they shot up. Well, I was hoping they were going to sweep this, play into this, and then grab this low or whatever, and then get back above. This was going to be my trigger, and they still might play this tonight. See, the thing is I was looking at the profile, and we really could come down a little further. You know, we have this poor low on the profile here. Now, this represents one of two things: an inefficient market that needs to come lower, or weak sellers who get trapped. Okay. So you never know how it's going to play out. All right. So like, you don't know until after the fact, but this gives us a certain amount of market information. So what I'm getting at by pointing this out is right now we know we tested the weekly and we tested it real nice. To me, that's one of my favorite levels until we get to the leg in. So I do not want to count the ability to pop from here to move higher. However, that smack today didn't give us a whole lot of confidence, and we ended the day on a red note. Now, is that the end of the world? Absolutely not. They could easily, you know, come down and retest this area in the middle of the night or first thing tomorrow and pop back up, and we could see what happens from that point. But I'm pointing this out because as of right now, we have one of two things that are going to happen here. We either push lower and end up completing this auction, because right now, look, we have no value area on this auction right now. So this leads me to believe that we will come lower. Okay. So right now I'm still long, right? I'm still looking to get long. Let me rephrase that. Right now I am not interested in shorting this market at all. We were in some major support, and I think it would be foolish to look for shorts here, because at this point we are starting to get into major weekly and daily support, and it just wouldn't be wise. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work out for you. I'm just saying, from the way that I look at the process, I would not be getting short here. All right. So we could certainly come a little lower. And if we come lower, you know, so be it. But these are the kind of areas that we're looking for. And these are the things that lead me to believe that it is possible. Okay. So that's what we got, guys. So we either hold here and go, or we come down and play 74 and resweep, or we can come all the way down if they choose to want to come down into this area here. But there is a lot of support in between there. And so I am right now simply looking for longs. I'm done shorting after yesterday. And this was, as you can see right here, this was our 07 that took us down. We played the 55. And so now we're all the way down into it. So, you know, in my opinion, that's all we need to be looking for right now as longs, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So that's it for ES. That's where we're going to stop. We'll see where we open in the morning and, you know, kick the trade plan out and see what's cooking. Now, there's two things I wanted to talk to you about. Yesterday, I threw a idea out there for some crypto, and I actually bought that crypto last night, and then I ended up doing some more research on it. And then that's going to be Uniswap. Okay. So I just want to recant my, my idea from yesterday. So yesterday I talked about buying this, and we were approximately at $5.14. Okay. And, you know, for me, I've always been a huge fan of this because the protocol is awesome. This is like the #1 decentralized exchange for crypto. It is probably the most successful protocol in all of crypto history. But, you know, when you think about what I just said, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Well, I even said, like, okay, they did $1 trillion in volume in 2025, and they've done $3.4 trillion in total volume so far. So why hasn't it gone? And so I, you know, last night after we got done talking, I ended up buying $2,000 worth of this stuff. And then I'm like sitting here and I'm like, maybe I'm a bit aggressive. Bitcoin's not done coming down yet. And so, you know, I started to do more research. You know, me and Gemini, pull Gemini up, see what's up. And I'm like, why hasn't Uniswap taken off? Now, this is super interesting. I wanted to put this out there for you guys. So apparently, like they said, massive success, right? The reason it's not taken off, it is nothing more than a governance token. So I don't know if you guys recall, but they were under a lot of pressure with the SEC. They were calling them a security. And the reason that they were a security, or could be a security, is because if you hold their token like a stock, right, and the company makes money, you get a dividend, right? So they're making great money from the swapping program. But if they kick money back to token holders, that technically makes it a security. And so right now, all the money from the fees, they're going back to liquidity providers. So people who stake the actual crypto in the pool. So when you do a change, you're using their crypto, or you're getting their crypto and swap for yours. Okay, they're getting 100% of the fees. Right now, UNI holders get 0% of this revenue. Okay, and they turn this off because of, you know, it's called a fee switch. They turn this off due to the SEC, or that's why it hasn't been turned on, period. And as you can see, the SEC Wells notice on Uniswap Labs suing them for being an unregistered security. Okay, so this is a really big deal. All right, and so I thought this was a really great way of essentially, you know, talking about what this is right here. It says the switch has been debated for years, but has never been durably activated. Without it, holding the UNI token is like owning a stock in a company that has pledged to never pay a dividend or buy back shares, even while it generates billions in revenue for its suppliers. So I was pretty disappointed at this. You know, this is a token I'm actually still holding, not from last night, but I've got tokens that I bought way higher. I'm obviously underwater on these. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll just bag hold these things until I can get out of them. I actually missed my $13 exit, I don't know, last summer or whatever, this summer. So a little salty about that. But regardless, I wanted to let you guys know that I was wrong. This still has the possibility of busting a move on the chart, as you can see. But I like a use case at the same time. And right now, this coin has no use case. It doesn't do anything. You know, one of my big things about Rune, which had the Thor swap, the Thor chain, Runes actually you had to use them to, you know, do something. And so that made sense. all this is voting rights. You give a shit about that. I don't want to vote on anything. I want to make some money. And so with that being said, I'm out of this. Okay. So other than what I've been back holding. So I want to let everybody know about that as well. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about, because I don't know if you guys realize, but the crypto market is getting slayed, right? Just absolutely demolished. Bitcoin was down almost 6%. Now it's starting to rebound a little bit. It actually got under $100,000 today. And I'm long, actually. So I bought some IBIT today. I'm going to show you guys what I did, like a crazy man. See, listen, I'm not always right. You know, like I do crazy shit. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So I posted this on Twitter today that I really liked this trade, right? And what I like, the trade that I liked is not the trade. So my plan today was to buy $25,000 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, just tell you straight up how I was going to do it. All right, I was going to buy stock, IBIT stock, and I was going to buy some options, and I was going to buy a bunch of spot. But I wanted it to do one thing, and it still might do it. Okay, so let's keep an eye on this. All right, so I didn't want it to go this far down, but it did. Look at that, it went all the way to 99,000. So I wanted it to buy this weekly and pop, and I'll show you the exact setup that I'm looking for. I think I actually sent it to my guy. It'll be easier for me to pull up this way. Let's see, here it is. This is the trade I was looking for. So I wanted Bitcoin to go down, play the weekly, and then sweep back above this monthly here where we had this long wick. If they end up accepting value back above this weekly or this monthly, this thing could really squeeze, and it could squeeze hard back to at least 108. And I really thought that this was a potential trade. So I ended up getting in this, not with 25 grand. I only put I bought 100 shares of IBIT at this weekly, essentially. And IBIT looked good to me. Now, one of the things that, you know, was kind of one of the reasons why I didn't just lay into this was, one, we didn't pop back above this monthly. I just wanted to leg into it a little bit. But two, you know, this was this wick down from the China move and the China tariffs. And so, you know, I was a little concerned that, well, maybe we got this pop already. Maybe it's already done, what have you. So IBIT looked great to me right here. And so I'm actually in it. I don't even think I'm underwater anymore. This thing's been moving up. Oh yeah, barely. It's right here. So I'm in from 53.60 and or 57.60, and it's at 57.53. So I'm down 7 cents. But it did sweep these lows. And so what I really want to see IBIT do is get back above this monthly at 66. If we get back above this monthly at 66, this thing could actually cruise a lot higher, which is the same thought process that I had for the spot Bitcoin. And so I'm going to be watching this tonight. As you can see, we've got a little, you know, pullback here, and it wasn't a lot. I mean, we're talking about $3 grand for Bitcoin. That is not insane. So if we end up getting back above this 102,436, let's call it 102,500 monthly, and we accept a little value up here, this could trigger a nice squeeze back to 108,250. And so I'm just kind of sitting in this, chilling, just waiting to see what's going to happen. Thank God I was looking at this towards the end of the day, and I thought, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I came out of my hypno session, and I was like, damn, this thing was at the low. I was like, okay, I'm about to get wrecked for about $300 or $400, which is never exciting. So anyways, looks like it might actually do something for me, and we'll see what happens. So just keep an eye on this 102,500 spot or 102,400 spot, and we'll see what happens here and kind of go from there. So that's essentially what I got for the day. You know, I came into the day, I took one trade, followed the plan, and, you know, now I'm looking for the next buy. So right now, Bitcoin is what I got going on. And I actually have a stock that I'm watching, guys. I'm not going to release that stock here. I will put it in the Substack. I started buying into it today, and I think it could be good. It's a Warren Buffett special, or it used to be. He actually is not in this position anymore, but I think it still has a lot of potential. It's pulled back about 50% from the all-time highs. So I will release that stock this evening via Substack, let you guys check it out. Keep an eye on this Bitcoin, and then obviously tomorrow, look for the trade plans in the early morning. And again, if you are not a subscriber, make sure you sign up for the 30-day free trial. You know, this thing is Gunsmoke. I just showed you. I mean, you know, to give you the one last example, well, I don't even need to pull it up, but you know, I made quite a few points today. You know, I was just trading small, and I made $1,600 on the push up, and I was 20 points late. So if I would have got the whole thing, it would have been an easy $3 grand day. And so, anybody can do this. The trade plan is there. Just trade it. And if you're in the Discord room, come check me out. So love to see you guys in there, and, don't miss your opportunity. So it was a pleasure talking to you guys. If you want to know any more about hypnosis, and if you'd like to, see me do a podcast with my man, Nate, he would be all about it. He's really good. And this is what he does for a career. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And tomorrow I will see you live and in charge at 5 o'clock. Ciao.